My name is Eric Zhivalyuk. I am the co-founder here at Germ Hero. And Germ Hero is what people are calling the #1 disinfection and sanitizing company here in Las Vegas. And essentially what we do is we provide a fast, safe, affordable disinfection service that eliminates up to 99.99% of harmful germs, viruses, bacteria, pathogens, flu, and even fungi and mold. And, the service is available for residential and commercial. And so we're able to help out a lot in the local Las Vegas community, helping residents disinfect their homes and businesses.
Why did you start the business? Because it seems it's just in time. Or did you always have the business and now it's really taking flight?
Yes.
How long have you been in business?
Great question. So basically we launched about 4 months ago. My business partner and I come from a software technology background, so I build websites and mobile apps. And so as you can, there you go. You can see that's nice. The site.
I'm looking at it too.
My partner, Ilya, he comes from a finance background. We got together and we actually quit our corporate jobs as a CTO and CFO, and we went ahead and launched Germ Hero. And so we've had an amazing response here from the local Las Vegas community. Because yes, it is an essential service, and we've been able to really help people out. We get calls all the time. My husband or my or my family has just tested positive. What should we do? And so we go ahead and we tell them, well, let's figure out a game plan. When did you guys test positive? Who's been in the home? Let's make sure that we can get you testing negative. But people are concerned. People don't know really the proper guidelines. And, as far as all these other disinfecting products and stuff out there, which are great, it's very hard to disinfect a full facility. And what we do is we're able to use the latest cutting edge technology. This is known as electrostatic spraying, as well as atomized fogging. And I'll tell you a little bit about that and what exactly it does and why it's super beneficial and really cost effective. And so we use the latest technology. We're able to fully disinfect a business, every square inch of that business, every square inch of that home, from under surfaces, in the cracks. And it's amazing because after we do a full disinfection service, the amount of gratitude, the amount of peace of mind that people have knowing that their home or their business has been just disinfected by Germ Hero is something that they can't find anywhere else. Because if they're doing it themselves or if they're hiring a cleaning company, they're not getting that peace of mind knowing that a professional industry expert disinfection and sanitizing company is coming in, creating a little custom game plan for them and fully and thoroughly disinfecting their home or business.
So may I ask what the ingredients are that makes it so 99.9%?
Yes, absolutely. And we're fully open. We use various different types of disinfecting agents. One of them is a very commonly known, and let me tell you first about the safety of all of our agents that we use. So all of our disinfecting agents are 100% EPA registered, and the EPA is the Environmental Protection Agency. Any type of thing that you're spraying, any chemical or solution needs, in order for it to be safe and people feel really comfortable and even to do business, needs to be approved and registered with the EPA. So all of our solutions are EPA registered. They're 100% safe for people, for pets, and for the environment. And even more so, they're non-toxic, they're non-corrosive, they're non-abrasive, they're non-flammable, and they're even safe to use on food contact surfaces. So for example, we have no problem coming in and disinfecting someone's kitchen or spraying over their silverware because the disinfecting agents we use are actually tested and approved by the EPA. And so one of the most common and very widely used all around the world is called hypochlorous acid. Now, I know that sounds like a chemical or it sounds harmful, but what hypochlorous acid is a very simple solution, okay? And so what it actually is your body's internal disinfection mechanism produces hypochlorous acid. That is what your body produces in order to disinfect and fight bacteria and viruses within your own self. And so we are able to use hypochlorous acid, which is EPA registered, and it's completely safe to use. So we're extremely adamant, and safety is our core. It's really something that we really want people to understand, that when we come in and spray in their home, that they know we provide them with a safety data sheet. They can understand, we educate them, because at the end of the day, when you hire someone to come in your home, whether it's a pest control or whether it's a janitorial service or a cleaning service, you never really know what, it's hard to take their word for it. We don't rely on the word of our suppliers. We don't rely on the word of marketing. What we do is actually, and I'll explain, and feel free if you want to jump in and ask any questions, or if I should just continue. What we do is we do our own internal testing. And what that means is that, when we first started this business, we had to educate ourselves. We needed to really, we don't go and just research and say, oh, this is the best solution because it has 100 good reviews or the best 5-star reviews. No, the way that we do our business is that we ordered a ton, hundreds of different types of disinfecting agents, solutions, tablets, dissolvents, sprayers, equipment. And we said, we're going to test one by one. We're going to test on a glass surface with this disinfecting agent, with this type of sprayer. We're going to test on this surface with this disinfecting agent, with this sprayer. And what we do is we are able to take, this is called an ATP test. This is a swab. We have the device sitting around here somewhere. And what we're able to do is we take one of these swabs, we'll swab a surface, and we drop it into a device. And this ATP meter, what this does is it measures the microbial count. So it's actually able to measure how much live bacteria is on a surface or even in a liquid, and we drop it into this rapid ATP meter and it outputs a number. Now it's going to output a number between 0 and 9,999. And what that is, the measurement is called an RLU. It's a relative light unit. And that basically tells us how much live bacteria is on that surface, how much live bacteria is in that liquid. And so we're able to take a test, disinfect with a solution or a type of equipment on a certain type of surface, because every surface is different. You have porous surfaces, you have non-porous surfaces, you have fabric, you have glass, all these different surfaces, and everyone absorbs bacteria differently. And so we're able to we do our own testing until we find the best result. And so that's what we went ahead and did, is we were able to test vigorously all of this process until we were able to say, okay, this is how we're going to do our service, because we tested it, we approve it, we know that it works. And so that's kind of what we do, is we really are adamant about knowing our industry, being experts in the disinfection industry, and going from there. So hopefully
with this product, for the surfaces to be disinfected, have you done clinical tests on people, say, with asthma or breathing problems, bronchitis, or emphysema?
That's a great question. So that's exactly what the EPA is for. So when we test a disinfecting agent, and that's a great question, and it's definitely very important. When we use a solution, we look at the safety data sheet that is basically, in order to put anything on the market, the EPA analyzes it. How does it affect your skin? How does it affect your ingestion? What happens if it gets in your eyes? All of these different factors. And there's a vigorous, extremely difficult testing process that once the EPA has gone through this process, they release this safety data sheet, and it determines how toxic is it? How harmful is it? Does it affect anyone with this? So it's a government entity that does that testing and says it's okay to use. And that's the only reason that product is on shelves whatsoever. And so, like I said,
when you go into people's homes then, or offices, do you do a little test area of the property to see if anyone gets reaction, or do you just go in and start spraying?
So we do just go ahead and start spraying, because I'll explain to you. If you want to know what's in hypochlorous acid, it's water, salt, and electricity. It's as simple as that. That's our main disinfecting agent. So what happens is, if you take water and you mix it with salt, and then you run an electric current through that water, that is now changes the molecular structure into a powerful, extremely natural and safe disinfecting agent. So unless you're allergic to salt, which, we usually, and I'll explain what the process, by the way, is. It's very simple. We're able to come in the home. People ask us, do we need to ventilate the house? Do we need to leave the house? How long? Usually the question is this: how long do we need to leave the house? And we tell them, well, you don't need to leave the house. If you want, you can hang out in the backyard, but it's been really hot. So we say, as long as our technician can maneuver around the home, so you can hang out, let's say in the living room or wherever, while the technician does the upstairs. And then when he's done upstairs, you can swap with the technician and go to a different area of the home. There's no residue. There's no, there's nothing left behind. No need to keep the windows open. Within 20 minutes, surfaces and fabrics are completely dry. And I'll tell you a little bit about the technology and how it works. So for example, this is one of a smaller sprayer. This is an electrostatic sprayer. It's a very expensive unit. And what it does is we put our disinfecting agents in here. And so what this does is when we spray our disinfecting agents, this actually electrically charges the particles that come out. So as it sprays, it is now, these particles have electrostatic in them. And what's the benefit of that? So for example, if I go ahead and I spray an object, normally you spray one side, the back, you have to spray the back, you have to spray underneath, you have to spray the sides, right? You got to get the whole object to disinfect it. Electrostatic spraying, what it does is because these are static particles, they wrap around a surface all the way 360 degrees. These particles bind together and they create a protective layer of germ fighting power. So it evenly distributes around a surface or an object, for example, a chair, a table, a TV, and it creates an even disinfection layer. Now that layer, depending on the disinfecting agents that we use, the solutions, can actually stay on there for up to several weeks, and that will continue fighting bacteria, germs, viruses, pathogens, and other types of live microbials. And so that's with electrostatic spraying. There is another technology that we use, and that is atomized spraying. And that is, it's not an electric charged particle, but what that does is creates a big, vast fog, like a fog-like appearance.
Like a mist.
Yeah.
Like a mist.
Like a mist, yes, exactly. So it's almost like we fog the home. And the reason that we have different types of technologies are for different types of application. For example, if you have a very big facility, a warehouse, a stadium, something with a lot of square footage, it's very hard to disinfect to reach the ceilings, the walls, high shelves. What this fog does is it will actually go and hit every crevice. It disinfects the atmosphere, the air that is actually in there. So this is great for surfaces, okay? And it's great for creating a protective layer for high touch areas. So for example, your keyboard. So like, I'm typing on here all the time. I want a protective coating on there that's going to keep fighting germs every time I come back and sit down. It's great for chairs, for counters, for shelves, for light switches, handles, doorknobs, all of these frequently touched areas, that you want to hit with an electrostatic sprayer. But what if there are microbial particles floating around the air, on the walls, in the floor, in the carpeting? You want to use a fog. So we use both. And then, of course, we do all types of other things. I'd like to touch upon a little bit. So as far as the technology goes, we have a great program that we do with residents. We're always offering, trying to work with residents, because at the end of the day, this is an essential service. So Germ Hero has been able to, because of the fact that we're not a massive franchise, we don't have a lot of overhead. We've streamlined our business. We're extremely focused on disinfection and sanitizing. And what that allows us to do is get those costs down really low. So we're able to offer disinfection services at an average of 3 times less than all of our competitors. And if you shop around, you'll see that. We have people calling us all the time and they say, well, I just got a quote from someone. They said, I wanted to know what your price is. And when we tell them, they don't believe us. Their jaw is on the floor because these other companies are out there and they're great companies. There's no bad mouthing here. The problem is that it's just very expensive, And so in order to offer a vital service to people and to businesses, it needs to be affordable. And if someone is not out there making it affordable, then what good is a disinfection service,
Right.
One of the main things, if you don't mind if I continue, one of the main things that we like to focus on is helping businesses. And I'll explain what that means. So we are, along with an expert disinfection and sanitizing service, we also are trying to bring traffic back through the doors of businesses by helping them build awareness with their customers, basically making them, having their customers and guests know that they're disinfecting with the best of the best of the best. and also helping them build trust and confidence in their customers because of the fact that, every business right now is struggling. And so if they cannot make their customers, if the businesses cannot make their customers feel comfortable and safe in their environment, then they're only in more trouble than they're already in. So what we do is after every service, we not only will put up these disinfection plaques. And so what this is a Germ Hero. It's a certified shield. And we're able, so there's a signature on here by the technician and there's a date of service. But you'll notice there's also a QR code. And what that QR code does is when people come in and scan it, it actually educates them. It brings them to our site. It not only validates the business saying, hey, this business is a Germ Hero verified business, but it also tells them what disinfection was done, when it was done, who it was done by, and helps them understand that, hey, they're really doing it. They're really doing everything they can, to feel safe. I mean, to make their customers feel safe and to create a sanitary environment. But even more than that, even more just placing plaques, we'll come in during the service. We take photos, we take videos, and we develop a post on our website that we use to promote that business. So we go ahead, we put them on our site, in our blog, in our verified business directory, and all throughout our social media saying, hey, this business is a Germ Hero verified business. They're disinfecting once a week, twice a week, whatever their schedule is. And they are a true business that is doing everything they can during this pandemic to make their customers feel safe, to provide a sanitary environment. They are industry leaders just along with us. So we take all that content and we give it to them as well. So now they can take everything that we gave them and say, oh, I'll put this on my social media and let my customers know I'm a Germ Hero certified business. My business is 99.99% germ free, and I have the latest disinfecting agents and the latest technology, and Germ Hero is my disinfection partner. So we create this beautiful relationship with these businesses, helping them market to their customers, educate to their customers, and have them understand that, hey, I'm really trying my best here, and I'm creating a safe environment for you, and we promote on our end. So it's a beautiful, beautiful thing,
So let me ask you this, Eric. I see it from your website, you do a commercial application for residential and business. Mm-hmm. Do you also have an application that's more portable for just the person who wants to, like when she goes to the office, spray the area? Is there something that you have that's also in a smaller application?
So believe it or not, we are working on a product line right now, which is some of the innovations that we've been able to think of. We don't have, to answer your question, we don't have anything yet. We are really on the cutting edge of disinfection technology, and it is something we're working on, along with some really amazing products that basically the person wouldn't even need to do the disinfection. Something that could be placed in a business within a certain, let's say a smaller office or, within certain areas of a business, and actually disinfect the air, kind of like an air purifier, but there's more.
I was going to say like a purifier.
Yes,
Definitely.
yes, similar to that, but something that will actually also monitor the air. So something that will actually sample the air and detect when there's high counts of bacteria or viruses or pathogens in the air. So for example, you have a high traffic business, right? It only takes one person to walk in there and contaminate it, right? And you never know, you can't tip your customer. But imagine if there would be something that would be within your business that is sucking in large amounts of volume of air, meaning it's high pressure, it's sucking in thousands of liters of air a minute, testing it, reading it, understanding it, and then reporting back to Germ Hero and the owner of that business that, hey, there's a high level of contamination. And this is something that we're working on towards the near future, something that we can offer to it. And so this is really, none of us really, before this pandemic, have ever thought about any of this stuff, and the safety of our business and the air quality of our business and our environment that we're in. And so this is, have opened our minds. There's many late nights where I can't sleep because I'm just thinking of what's the best and the latest way to help people stay safe, And, I'm sure there's listeners and I'm sure there's people out there that are saying, how can you capitalize on a pandemic? The bottom line is, and it could be a controversial topic, But the truth is we're helping people. We're able to, along with these other companies that are charging so much. I mean, if we can come in and give it to them just that much better, that much more affordable, that much more effective, then, we're helping people at the masses. It's something that they really need. And we are so passionate. We're involved in the community. We offer to many different events, and stuff like that. So, another thing that we do is we offer disinfection for vehicles. So, we have approached and we have spoken with companies like Lyft in order to figure out whether we can disinfect their cars. And so it's a very difficult process because there's a lot of corporate entanglement and decision making and approvals. And so we have approached them and we are in communications with companies like that. I know that, for example, Clorox has some program with Uber, which I was told is not the best. But, I haven't seen it for myself. So I believe they basically just wipe down the vehicle with wipes or something along those lines.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Let me ask you this as well. Since you described it as water, salt, and electrolytes, does it affect for people who have, say, artwork up? Would that type of fog affect the painting?
That's a great question. And so to answer your question, usually people ask, what do I need to do to prepare for a service?
Exactly.
And so, yes, beautiful, excellent question. And these are all the common questions that people ask. So it's great. So what we tell people, number one, is the best thing that you can do is declutter. When you have a lot of items, papers, mail, magazines, those are the things that you want to remove from surfaces so that we can get our disinfecting agents and technology on as much surface area as possible. We want to get that on the surface. The other thing is, yes, so because of the fact that this is liquid that sprays out of this nozzle here, and I'll zoom in right in there so you can kind of see, that is 3 different nozzles and it electrically charges. Anyway, so yes, so we asked them to remove papers. Artwork on the walls also to be taken down so we can properly disinfect, especially if they're expensive. Aside from that, people say, well, what about my pots, my pans, my dishes? We say, no, it's completely, all of our disinfecting agents are safe to use on food contact surfaces, meaning, as a matter of fact, one of our other disinfecting agents that we use is a very common disinfecting agent that's used in industrial kitchens. So food processing plants where food is produced and distributed and manufactured. And these are huge industrial kitchens. We use one of our other disinfecting agents. It's a little stronger, but we use that for more industrial and other types of commercial businesses where people are not eating and having their children and pets and stuff like that. So, but yes, if we would not spray. So if we came in and we saw that there's an artwork that's exposed, that's not in a frame, we would absolutely ask the customer if we can take that down, just even as an extra precaution. And this is not at all required. Right. We ask them to remove toothbrushes from the bathroom so we don't spray directly on toothbrushes. If there's any exposed food in the kitchen, fruit bowls, for example, we'll say, put it away. So it's really simple. Declutter, remove any exposed food. If there's anything on the walls that is sensitive, anything sensitive at all as far as paper, then, we'll put that away and remove toothbrushes. So usually that can be done within about 10 minutes and your home is prepared. There's nothing else that needs to be done or prepared in order to for our technician to come in and disinfect from top to bottom.
So basically,
so Eric, has this been tested against the virus? Have you had the opportunity to test against the COVID?
So with our microbial testing, it doesn't break down individual species of bacteria or viruses. However, in order to claim or to represent that you are able to disinfect against COVID, your disinfecting agent that we use, this has to be approved by the CDC. It's recommended by the CDC, and it's also approved by the EPA. They will be the ones, and they will be the only ones who will say this will kill COVID. As an individual small company, we don't want to be the one saying that. We want to hear it from the big guys who know that. And so, luckily, a lot of that testing and research is done on a government level, and it's very important because you can't have people running around with spraying whatever they think is going to work or whatever they tested in their offices. So absolutely. And so, when we do, for example, we partner with a lot of businesses. So for example, when we do, for example, we're about to, tomorrow, we're going to spray a large dispensary here in Las Vegas. Because they're a national company, they have protocols. So every time we come in and disinfect, or initially when we started, we had to provide them with safety data sheets, SDS. And what that is basically, like I said, from the EPA, is going to list out all of the different sensitivities. You know, if someone allergen, you know, the allergic responses, what happens if it gets in your mouth, in your eyes, on your skin? What is the process for that? How toxic is it? Do you need to go to a hospital? Those are the SDSs that are basically the official, and we provide those to schools and restaurants and all of those things, because of course, for their purposes, they need to report actually what is being sprayed within their business. And so that's something very important to be able to provide them with.
So do you feel you've conclusively done all your testing on animals, pets, plant life, children? You feel you're conclusive in that
Absolutely.
It will not affect them in any negative way?
Absolutely. We stand behind it. We are insured as well. You know, we haven't had any types of issues along those lines. You know, we've safely sprayed around animals, children, and people. You know, we try to keep our distance just so that we can do our job effectively. But if you research hypochlorous acid, you will find tons of information on it. It's used throughout the world. And like I said, hypochlorous acid literally is produced by the human body inside of you. So when you have an infection, your body starts producing hypochlorous acid internally to fight that infection. It's amazing how the human body has already a built-in, the most powerful, safe disinfecting agent there is within yourself. It's beautiful. Yeah.
So basically clean first, then disinfect. That's how it works, right?
Yes. And I'll take a second to mention to everyone who's listening, we'd love to offer some of our services at a discounted rate with some other additional benefits. On our site, if you want to get a free estimate, we turn that around in just a couple minutes. So basically, to request a free estimate takes about 30 seconds on our website. And we'll give you a promo code right now. You can use PHLV. And what that'll get you at any time, you can use it up to this for another week after this point. It will give you 5% off any service, whether it's commercial or residential, and we'll also honor and offer up to 3 cars disinfected with that service. So if you have a home and you want to get your home disinfected, we're going to give you a 5% discount, and we're going to disinfect your cars up to 3 cars for your family, every single one. So that's something we'd love to offer to you guys. We'd love to be involved in the community and to help out locals. If you have a business, we're happy to come free of charge, help educate you. We'll analyze your facility. We'll take measurements. We'll understand your business and how much traffic you have. And we'll put together a custom game plan that you can really rely on. And so when you have the health department coming in, when you have OSHA coming in, they look for partners, for consultants, for industry experts. And, I believe when you have someone that you can strongly stand behind and say, hey, Germ Hero comes in here and they tell me what to do and this is what they do, we're happy to be that partner for you. We're happy to give you all the information you need in order to make sure that you can help educate yourself and help build your awareness.
Cool. So where is your location or your offices?
Sure.
So our people, if they wanted to come in and learn more about your product, where would they find you?
Absolutely. You guys can come into our office anytime. We do have walk-ins. It's 4625 Wynn Road, and that's Suite 100. So 4625 Wynn Road, Suite 100. But if you Google Germ Hero, you'll find our address right on there, where you just type in Germ Hero into google.com. You'll see everything you need to know. So feel free to come pay us a visit. We can show you a demo how it works. We're also happy to do some testing and show you and help you understand exactly what it is that we do and how we're making a difference. We also, we do all types of stuff where we're never shy to help people understand.
Well, if timing was essential for your product, you couldn't ask for a better time, unfortunately, for the circumstances it's in, but it's going to be a product people will be using for sure. We couldn't applaud you enough to choose a product that everyone is going to need.
Thank you. And trust me, I am out there myself, in the heat, disinfecting, meeting with and helping. And, initially it was just Elia and I, and we were running around in 16-hour days. And, it's no joke. It takes a lot of work, and, no one's sitting just behind a desk. Everyone's doing their part. And like I said, we're very involved with the community as far as, whenever there's an event, any type of event, feel free, guys, reach out to us. We will be happy to come in. We'll sponsor that event by disinfecting it so that all of your guests can come in and feel safe. We'll put up our plaques. We'll help your event be a success, or your, whatever it is, And so that's something. Give us a call, and we're here for you. We're here 24/7.
Can you repeat your phone number again for access for our listeners out there?
Yeah, absolutely. You can call us, and most likely it'll be me or Elia answering, but we do have other sales agents. But it's 1-800-497-1488. Again, it's 1-800-497-1488, or germhero.com. And you can learn a lot about us on there. We also offer a lot of free information: how to properly disinfect your home on your own, how to disinfect your business, how to disinfect your car. We're happy to provide the guidelines. When you need a partner to come in and do it, that's why we're here. But if anyone, wants to learn and educate themselves, we provide those materials as well. And it's a step-by-step guide on how to do it all.
Well, I think for just listening to you for the past 30 minutes, you are very passionate about this.
Thank you.
I just know it's going to be a great success for you. And like I said, every household will be using your product. And
Thank you.
You are thinking about the community, because if you were to do a restaurant or any type of business, and we know how our existing people are suffering, you have come in with a product that is essential.
Thank you.
Hands down, totally essential. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me on. Listen, we have one main goal, that is to keep people safe and to help businesses reopen and to stay open. And that's we got to get back on our feet here. Whether or not we like it, we need something that's going to help us do that. And we're happy to be that.
Eric, I have one question. People who are in the house who have this oxygen type thing,
Mm-hmm.
And people who have asthma, how would these things affect them practically if you disinfect the house, the entire of the house? They don't have to get out of the house, right?
Yes, absolutely.
How soon will they, can they, as far as inhaling it,
Mm-hmm.
if you're asthmatic,
Right.
and some people have oxygen,
Well,
how
I'll
does it works?
Absolutely. So have you ever been to Miami, Florida, Bernie?
In dreams, yes.
In dreams, okay.
In my dream.
If you've ever been in a high humidity atmosphere like Miami, something's by the ocean, I'm sure you have. You can feel that heaviness when you breathe in.
Yes.
That's a similar type of aspect. So, but the thing is that what we're spraying in the air is mostly H2O, which is water. So it's a very similar aspect. If someone, and maybe I need to do a little bit more research, can get asthmatic because of the humidity levels, which I believe humidity helps break down the mucus that causes asthma. Then otherwise than that, there would be no problem. So, if anything, if we see someone with major health problems, we may ask them to stay within an area of a home just to be safe. But due to our safety data sheets that we rely on from the from the CDC and from the EPA, that is something that we heavily rely on. We do our own testing, and we're very conscious and observant of people's homes, how they keep their homes, who's in the home, all of those different things. Each one of our technicians, we train them to be experts. We are, until we have a trained technician, we're with him for the first 20, 30, 40, 50 appointments until we're comfortable letting him go out on his own, until he knows exactly what he's doing. He knows exactly the right questions to ask. He knows exactly how to educate the customer. He knows exactly how to answer questions. Until the technician is an expert, he's not on his own. He is supervised at all times to make sure that all decisions are made properly. And so it's very important to us to maintain that reputation. It only takes one mistake, and we don't at all envision us making that mistake. So
yeah, and also the newborn.
Yes. So infants, it's completely safe as well for plants, for environment, for pets, even smallest of pets, which small pets are even more sensitive than the newborns, believe it or not. We're talking smaller rodents or mice, or I know not many people have them, or we're talking gerbils, stuff like that. Very, very sensitive systems. And so that's kind of why a lot of the testing is health testing is done on rats and mice, because they're very intricate. So, but yes, listen, if I couldn't say it enough, it's 100% safe for people, for pets, and for the environment. And the testing there is done.
Okay. How often do you have to disinfect? Just
Okay,
like if I have to disinfect my house on the first, how long would it be before I?
Absolutely. So first of all, for residential, it's very different than commercial, and I'll explain why. So when you keep your home, you know exactly who's coming into your home. You know how your home is kept. You know how often it's cleaned. So for a home, we recommend every 4 to 6 weeks. So we could say, on average, maybe once a month, maybe a little more, depending on the traffic. For example, if you have family coming over a lot, if you have guests coming and staying with you from out of town, that would be an indicator to disinfect more often. But most people during the pandemic are kept to themselves. They come home, they have their families, they know where their families are, they know where they've been, and they know the measures that each one of them takes. They know whether their son is wearing a mask, or at least supposed to be wearing a mask. So for residential, we say 4 to 6 weeks. With commercial, that's why we'll come in, and do a free estimate as far as analyzing the facility. So for example, we had a large bank chain that we disinfect. And so we came in there, one of our first meetings. And so we did a full disinfection. It's a 10,000 square foot bank. And so we went behind the teller desk, around the vaults. I mean, we were in every little crack, in the offices, in all the little secret rooms in a bank, and everything in there. And they let us go in and properly disinfect. And so now you think about it, there's areas of a bank, like the back areas and the teller areas, where there's not high traffic volume of people who are public, from the public, but there's a lobby. So we gave them a game plan as far as the whole facility. We can do every 4 or 5 weeks, for example, like that. But the lobby and the front, the teller desk in the front, where people are constantly touching and signing and giving, and all of these things, there's high volume. We recommend to do that almost every other day, because of the amount of traffic that's coming in there. It's important for them, so we'll be very honest, as experts in the industry. We have to be honest. We can't tell them, oh, you're going to be fine. We can't tell them more than they should. We're not there to make more money off of a frequency. We're there to give them a game plan and to tell them exactly, okay, this area should, this kitchen area should be done once a week. And we'll come back. That's our overhead, because we have to come back to do a smaller area, right? But that's the proper way to do it. We're not going to do it the easy way, like Gettle says. We're going to do it the right way, So that's exactly how it has to be done. Even if we have to come back and disinfect the tiny little lobby, then that's what needs to happen, and that's what we schedule for.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Eric, for
no problem.
Absolutely. I feel protected just by listening to you.
Thank you, Lonnie. Listen, we're very. What's beautiful is that we're real people. We're building relationships. We're listening to what people are saying. We're understanding their concerns. I spent 25 minutes on the phone with a lady from a nursing home, and I know she was elderly, and I know she just wanted a friend. But I stood on that conversation until she was done, and she was happy, and she said bye. And so it was it was great to be able to just be there for her, whether it's as a disinfection service or just someone who can be there for someone else.
All right.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. And hopefully we'll meet again sometime, have a repeat.
Absolutely. And for your guests, again, for the 5% discount and for the free car disinfection, just use a promo code PHLV and just go on germhero.com and we'll be happy to honor that for you. Anytime.
Yeah, and don't forget, we have this directory, the Las Vegas Filipino Resource Guide, that reaches out to so many Filipino Americans in the community, and you might want to take that advantage, to get into it. We'll show you later
Very
about
much.
it.
We would absolutely be able to. Guys,
Thank you
very
so
much
much.
for your time today. We appreciate it.
Thank